Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York. A brisk Friday, April 24th, 2026. We'll be covering Harvey Weinstein again today. We're covering the trial in 100 Center Street. It's his third retrial, and it's getting narrower and narrower. Yesterday, there was the readback of testimony from a woman, Miss Maya, who testified in 2020 for the defense. She basically said Jessica Mann didn't talk about any kind of abuse and pinched Harvey on the cheeks. It was somehow part of the prosecution case. I have to say, Mann is going to take the stand Monday, and we'll see. But right now, I don't know. I'm covering it daily. But yesterday we broke away from there because, of course, SDNY calls. And this was a call for a civil case, a 2 p.m. civil case against the musician, producer, Swizz Beatz. He took $7.3 million from Jolo of One Malaysian Development Bank fame. Now, many people have had to return what they took from Jolo, but Swizz Beatz apparently doesn't want to give it back and also doesn't want to comply with discovery, according to plaintiffs. This is all from the docket, and that's why we went to cover it. But when we went upstairs at 2 p.m., the courtroom was locked. The lawyers were in the hallway. It seemed that maybe the case had been forgotten by the judge. No, I decided to wait, but at the other end of the hallway, I wasn't looking for quotes. I just wanted to cover what happened in the courtroom. Suddenly, the courtroom door was open from the inside, and I heard it open and shut, so I waited a couple minutes, then I went in to go and cover the case. Door locked. Secret case? Made some noise, and the door opened, and I went in. They began. They were talking about why Swizz Beatz doesn't want to give any information of what's been done with the money. Judge seemed to kind of agree that it didn't really matter how he spent the money, just that he got the money. And then the judge said, why don't we take this into the robing room? And I didn't like that, as you might imagine. I thought it might be brief. There might be some medical condition of Swizz Beatz. I could understand that. Little Swizz Beatz action. But no. What it was the entire case was moved behind closed doors. The entire case was moved. It began at about 2:15. And the lawyers didn't come out until 2:58, and they went straight to the elevator. There was no summary given. Often a judge will have something behind closed doors and then come out and say, well, as we discussed behind closed doors, the next filing is due X or whatever. Nothing. In fact, the next case didn't start on time for other reasons, and the judge just came out and ran the next case. So, again, if you notice here, I haven't said the name of the judge, but you'll find it. And it's one of these things where we don't go around looking for trouble, but we find it. And this is highly problematic, I think. So I say. On the Miles Guo front, his sentencing has been once again delayed, this time to June 29th. June 29th, Miles Guo. Expect his supporters. At least there are many of them online. Fox Hunt Guo. You can find the book. He'll be sentenced on June 29th. Finally, the United Nations. Sall. Of the 4 candidates, I think the most interesting of the interactive debates was Sall, because there were protesters outside in a pickup truck going up and down 2nd and 1st Avenue, talking about Sall's record as in Senegal. And then one of the one of the, I guess, civil society of Senegal people says online, has tweeted at Inner City Press that he was removed by UN security. So we're going to do a follow-up question today to Gilles Michaud, the man who maintains the secret banning list at the UN. He admitted as much at the International Peace Institute. But yesterday, a very polite email sent to him, not answered at all. Once again, the total impunity of the United Nations. Well, we will not rest. Money for nothing, law breaking, right inside New York City. And the U.S. mission hasn't done beans about it. We're going to keep it up. To be continued.